Just to give you a little bit of background as well, this is kind of like a prelude talk before next week on the 17th of November, where we're going to actually have a full-blown Windows Phone 8 workshop next Saturday. So make sure that at the end of this, you get the details from Chun Seong and you sign up for that. It's going to fill really quickly, and we have unfortunately limited spaces, but we really want to try and get as many of you guys there as possible because we're really excited on what's happening with Windows Phone 8. So today I'm just going to give you a little bit of precursor in case you have missed the build announcements, the Windows Phone 8 announcements from the various platform manufacturers, from Joe Balforia, and I'm just going to bring you up to speed about where we are with Windows Phone 8. So here we go. So today I'm just going to do a really quick pitch on 8 reasons that you want to think about with Windows Phone 8 and what's coming up. So here are my favorite 8 reasons. The first thing that Windows Phone 8 is great is that it's been really completely reinvented, and it's been really invented around you. And so with Windows Phone 7.5, which Nokia brought out and helped to really get a lot of visibility for the Windows Phone platform in the market, Windows Phone 8 takes it to the next level. So we have got, and Chun Seong will go into it in his presentation, you're going to have a whole new approach. We retain all the good stuff, the live apps, the live tiles, but now we're going to increase that with 3 tile sizes. So you've got small, medium, and large. So you're actually able to program what is going to be shown on the tile size, depending on the tile size, the kind of information you want to present to the user. Also, for developers, one of the things that developers had given the feedback was that there was not enough, openness in the platform to be able to customize the experience for the end users. So what Microsoft did with Windows Phone 8 was that they delivered increased amount of personalization and extensibility to the platform around personalization. So that is increased now to a live lock screen. So you can push notifications now to the lock screen of the phone, which is great. When you just turn on the phone, you can just glance at it on the lock screen, and you can actually have the notifications right there persisting on the lock screen and getting pushed to the lock screen. They also allow you to change the lock screen wallpapers. So an end user can choose the application that's associated with the lock screen, and then that can then be pushed, the entire lock screen image, whether it is your favorite Facebook photo, whether it is the latest scores that come from the ESPN app, whether it's a CNN breaking news image, it can be at the lock screen. Whatever the end user chooses is the most important thing that they want to see in the lock screen. So it becomes a really, really personalized platform. And the people that have, with this new home screen that you can see, that's my phone up there. With this new home screen, there's absolutely no mistaking that this is my phone. You will never pick up this phone and wonder, hey, whose phone is this? Like you would with, let's say, an Android device or an iOS device. We pick it up, and it's essentially the only thing that you customize is the wallpaper, right? And everything else is just icons and tiles on the screen. But here, this is home screen is alive. The people and the things that matter most to me are right there, right in front of me. So you can see at the top row, I've got my me tile there, and then my phone tile, and I've got kind of like my messaging center. So my emails, my instant messaging, or my link is all up there. The people tile, where I get to choose, make phone calls, look for people, find out what people in my life are up to, and then I've got my big calendar tile. That's the most important thing to me, to find out what's going on in my day. And then I've got photo tiles, my partner, and then the Facebook tile, and so forth. So it now, this main screen is now the most important thing to me, and you would not be able to personalize the screen on any other OS in this manner of, personalization. So I think it's a really, really great OS that's centered around people and things that are most important to us. So that's the first thing. The second thing, which I'm really, really excited about with Windows Phone 8, is that it is truly open for business. So one of the things that we have really struggled with Windows Phone 7 is the enterprise support for Windows Phone 7. So in Windows Phone 8, the first thing, which you may or may not know, is that it actually runs the same kernel as Windows 8 on the desktop and on the tablets, which means all the goodness of Windows 8 and using the NT core and all that is actually brought over to phone, which means you get things like BitLocker encryption, which makes it the only mobile platform with actually hardware encryption, and all the IT administrators will go yay. The second thing about this porting of this kernel over to the phone is that it allows you to manage the device for IT administrators by using things like Microsoft System Center. And Microsoft System Center will allow you to control what apps are deployed on the phone, the level of security profiles, user access control, all that from a central system server, which is already connected to the Active Directory domain controllers, and it plugs straight into the enterprise. One of the reasons why Android tablets or Mac books unfortunately doesn't work very well in the enterprise space is because IT administrators just don't have that level of confidence to be able to control what the end user is doing and how the system is being secured to prevent tampering, hacking, loss of data, and that kind of thing. But with Windows Phone 8, the great part is the shared kernel and being able to bring that over. So you add to that, besides being able to deploy the line of business applications, besides having the hardware encryption, you also have Office, and that's also supported by SkyDrive. So I love being able to move about and working on my Windows Phone 8 device, because I can stop working on the PC and pick things up right on my phone. And if you ever try to open up a PowerPoint on an iOS device, especially one that doesn't use system fonts, especially one that has got at least one transition or things that overlay onto it, and it becomes illegible. I encourage you to grab one of these and actually try and test the Office experience here. You can actually be productive and see things as they are. So the second thing that I'm really excited about is that Windows Phone 8 makes Windows Phone open for business, and it's in fact the only are you able to read your text very clearly in bright sunlight. One of the things that I absolutely hate when I'm surfing the web on a small screen is that when I scroll, there's all this shearing, and I actually have to wait for the animations to stop before being able to read it again. And that becomes because of the low refresh rates that we see on screens today. But with the 920, we've got a 60 hertz refresh rate, and that's a part of the pure motion technology, so it's absolutely buttery smooth when it comes to animation, and we're not going to have that same shearing problem anymore. We added to that, Nokia's strengths around optics, so you guys know about PureView, the 41 megapixel technology that we had earlier today on the Symbian platform. We brought PureView to Windows Phone 8 and integrated it. And then we have a secure NFC, which is also built into all the devices. So there are a lot of good hardware opportunities and new features that are coming that developers can make use of to make consumers' life a bit better. Number 6 for me is, this thing animates, the Nokia Maps platform. So with Windows Phone 8, we're delivering in cooperation with Microsoft the Nokia Wear platform. So this Nokia Wear platform is a platform that we've actually licensed to Microsoft backwards, and it's being used in Windows 8, Windows RT, and Windows Phone 8. And if you remember, about 4 or 5 years ago, Nokia actually bought a company called Navtac, which is actually people who actually create their own maps. And so today, what we have done is that we've integrated this Nokia Maps platform into our devices, but also we've given it and licensed it to Microsoft and other OEMs. So you're actually going to have a really good mapping platform that actually works on your phone. The other great thing about it is that because we own the maps, we can do things like offer the maps to consumers to download. So you can actually put the entire maps for whatever country that you want in your phone before you leave, and that actually plugs in to the drive, the turn-by-turn drive system, the map system, the transit system, and you actually be able to completely use the maps platform offline when you're traveling. Everybody is always worried when you're traveling, you've got the roaming charges, right? And even when you're using maps platforms You know, the biggest thing you're worrying about is if I'm downloading this map to my phone, how much is that going to cost me? And we're perpetually running into Wi-Fi hotspots to try and look for places that we can actually grab the screenshots, save the screenshots, which you now can with Windows Phone 8, and then you run out the door. But if you're able to pull all the maps, all the POIs onto your phone and be able to use it like, you know, a sat nav that you have in your car, which is absolutely unconnected, but actually the maps are on board already, then you're actually going to save the data charges entirely. And the great thing about this, apart from having this global turn-by-turn offline maps navigation that's given away to for everybody who buys a Nokia device, is the new Nokia Maps API library, which we will talk about a little bit more next week, on how you can actually leverage on these new APIs as developers in a very meaningful way. So number 6 for me is the Nokia Maps platform. Number 7 for me are the camera extensions. One of the great things I love about the Windows Phone 8 platform is that Microsoft has decided to be a little bit less uptight. And they have opened up a number of parts of the platform. And one of the great parts of the platform is they have opened up is the camera function. And this has allowed us to do a couple of things. One is it allows us to, you know, you have got your camera APIs, everybody knows that already. You can do things like VoIP applications actually leverage on the cameras and stuff like that. But one of the new things that we have on the Windows Phone 8 platform, which is not available on other platforms, is lens applications. And using the DirectX capabilities of the device, because this thing supports DirectX 11, you can actually create an application that instead of post-processing the images, you can actually process the images in real time. So imagine creating an app which has a filter, which does something, you know, everybody knows things like 美图秀秀 and things like that, right? But all those are all done post-processing. But if you're going to have it live in the viewfinder, pre-processing or in-processing, that is, imagine like putting a lens on your camera. And those kind of applications are now able to be built with the camera extensions on Windows Phone 8. And of course, there are many exclusive imaging applications like Creative Studio, like Panorama, like Smart Shoot, that uses these camera extensions, which you'll be able to get when consumers purchase your device. So if you haven't heard of things like Smart Shoot, for example, it basically allows you to very quickly take a series of photos. We bought this company called Scalado and integrated that technology into it. And from the series of photos that you have taken, let's say of a group of people, it will identify the faces, and based on the last 5 shots they have taken of those faces, you can actually choose which is the best face of those 5 that you want to compose into that shot. And so you can pick, okay, 3 people there, I'll choose for the left person, the 4th face, for the second person, the 1st face, and for the 3rd person, the 5th face, and they'll stitch it all together back for you into a very nice photo. So nobody is either looking away from the camera or not smiling. 2 very, very important things when we take portrait photos. So these are being able to be addressed by simple things like camera extensions. And finally, last but not least, number 8, the most revenue opportunities for developers. See, one of the problems with Windows Phone 7 for me was there were very, very limited places where developers could actually publish their apps, and we worked very hard to work around the problem. So Singapore became kind of like an app hub for the region. So people in Malaysia couldn't publish their applications anywhere except through Singapore. But the problem with doing something like that is that everybody, the people in Malaysia couldn't find Malaysian applications because they were all published through Singapore. But now, with Windows Phone 8, Microsoft has opened up 191 countries to be able for you to publish your applications to. Which also means that, you know, for phone companies like Nokia, we're able to sell phones in a lot more countries and a lot more locally, and allow people to buy in their own currency. So everybody knows about try and buy already, which was already on the Windows Phone 7 platform. But in Windows Phone 8, you have the ability to have in-app purchasing for one time, which are called durables or consumables. So you can do subscription-based services where, you know, you can actually rebuild the consumer over and over again. So this API is already available. If you want to know how to use it, well, just come next week and the APIs and how to integrate that will be shared with you. In addition to that, we also allow, you know, multiple ad platforms to be integrated. So Again, this is another testimony to the fact that Microsoft is not trying to use their APIs and the SDKs for everything. They're allowing other ad exchanges and other ad APIs to come in to be able to integrate to help developers to monetize their application. So Nokia, we don't just sell Windows phones, we also sell S40 phones. And the Nokia Ad Exchange will allow developers to actually drop an SDK very simply into their applications and be able to serve ads up from over 90 ad networks around the world. And finally, we're working really hard on operator billing to make it as easy as possible for places where credit card is not so popular or not so common. Income levels don't tend to be as high as Singapore, which is the rest of the world. Then they'll be able to actually make a purchase for the applications that you actually write. So those are my 8 reasons why you should switch and think about actually how you can extend what you're doing on desktop to Windows Phone, or if you're doing something from iOS and Android, actually think about how to leverage on Windows Phone platform. And these are my favorite 8 reasons. I'm going to turn the time now over to Chun Xiong, who's going to go through his presentation really quickly, and then I'm going to be hanging around, and you guys can actually have a play for this. Now, here's something extra super special before I turn the mic over to Chun Xiong. For those people who are actually registering for the workshop next week, one of the things that we have made a deal with Microsoft is that all participants of the workshops that are coming up for Windows Phone 8 will be able to be the first people in Singapore, firstly, to buy a Windows Phone 8 device. And we're going to be giving a generous discount for those people who are attending the workshops to be able to get hold of a Lumia 920 or an 820. So if you want to know how to get that, please come for the workshops next week. Thanks.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Sun Xiao. I'm the technical evangelist for Windows Phone and Windows 8. So today, I'm going to share with you some stuff on Windows 8. I think we have quite a lot of overlap. I'll try to go through some of these overlaps in more in detail. Yep. So, I believe that if you guys have seen different platforms, you can see that the subscription is really different on the Windows Phone. So from a consumer point of view, we're trying to sell that it's a very people-centric phone towards the consumer. So a lot of times, developers are always complaining, hey, there's no market share for the platform. Okay, that might be one of the greatest challenge or barrier of thinking to go into the platform. But I believe that for Windows Phone, it's very people-centric, and we have really great hardware coming from Nokia, and you can play with it later. I believe that this is one of the key selling point for the consumers to purchase the phone, hence to get more market share for your apps. So to date, we have around 120,000 phone apps, in the market. But this is still a pretty small number. We are still looking at even more apps from the worldwide point of view. So one of the things about Windows Phone is that there's going to be a shared core. So if you write your applications, there's going to be a shared user experience. So you can see that interface is very similar, and everything will be synchronized through SkyDrive. Some of our settings, some of your media, pictures. Testing our camera, yeah. So some of your pictures, your media, all will be synced to a SkyDrive. And if you sign into the same Microsoft account through your phone and through your Windows 8 device, everything will be synchronized through a SkyDrive. So it gives a very seamless experience across different devices. So from a developer point of view, we have something called share core. So what the share core allows the developer to do is that it requires you to have very minimal code changes when you port your Windows 8 application into Windows Phone 8. Of course, there are still some differences. Why? Because you must understand that the phone has a different resolution from the device, the Windows 8 tablets itself. And some of the hardware sensors on the phone are not available on the Windows 8 tablets, and the other way around also is true, okay, vice versa. Okay. But now we are really making it very easy for developers, okay, both on the C#, from the C# school and from the JavaScript school to port over their applications throughout both platforms. Okay. So I also have 8 things about Windows 8. Yeah. So let me briefly go through. Okay. Of course, the first thing will be a great hardware. Okay. Remember, we are talking about market share. We want to get consumers excited to increase the market share for Windows Phone itself. Okay. So the hardware will be the greatest enticing factor. And from a Microsoft point of view, okay, they are working very, very hard to get big titles onto the Windows Phone. Okay. So yesterday we just announced that Angry Bird Star Wars is it's already on the Windows Phone 8. And 1 hour ago, we just announced that Hanging with Friends and Draw Something is already on the store. Yeah. Work with friends, and draw something. Hanging with Friends. Yeah. So it's already in the store. So we're working very hard to bring even more exciting applications onto Windows Phone. But I cannot disclose too much. But there are really, really big titles, like the top titles in iOS or Android that's coming to Windows Phone really, really soon. And because of what? Oh, running from the thumbs Okay. So some of the key differences of our Windows Phone would be that we support the 3 screen resolution, okay, and all the existing Windows Phone 7 applications will all run on Windows 8, okay, and there's micro SD support. So for the Lumia, okay, the 820 supports micro SD expansion. Okay, so if you can just go to Sim Square, you can grab a really cheap micro SD card and put it in, and you'll get additional disk space. Yeah. Okay. The next thing I would like to talk about will be IE10. Okay. There's one very big change in IE10 I would like to highlight is that we have native support for touch in IE10. Okay. Later maybe I can show you guys some demo. So when we talk about touch, it's not just about scrolling. Okay. The touch we are talking about is that it supports gestures. So example, if you do a pinching and zooming, the browser itself understands it. And IE10 is supporting the touch standards, W3C, yeah. So we believe that other mobile operators, other mobile operating system will support it really, really soon. But we are one of the first few to support the native touch and gestures on the web browser on the phone itself. Okay. So of course the third thing will be we are trying to make it really, really easy for developers, especially the game developers, to port over their applications on the Windows Phone. Okay. So native code is supported on the Windows Phone. Okay. And we have announced that there is going to be all these games engine are going to be supported. Example, Unity 3D is going to be supported. Coco Studio is going to be supported. Havok, Marmalade, and Allgate. So all these 5 game engines will be supporting both Windows Phone and Windows 8. So you just have to code once, and then you compile for both platforms, and you'll be able to publish your apps onto both stores.
I think it's a new version.
So the fourth thing will be speech API. Okay. So previously on Windows Phone, we acquired a company called Tellme. Okay. So Tellme is a speech recognition system which is built into a phone. So you'll be able to talk to a phone. But in Windows Phone 8, we have allowed developers to make use of this API. So while you using some backend service or using your own speech recognition server or system, you'll be able to use Microsoft speech recognition. Okay. So the speech recognition is pretty awesome. Do just a few lines of code. Okay, it will be able to input the text and give you all input your voice and give pass key into text for you. So from a consumer point of view, you can say, okay, let's say if your app is a car park app, okay, you are trying to find how much car park are there in like Suntec City. You can just say open car park app. Okay, look how many car parks are there in Suntec City. And then from a developer point of view, you'll be able to gather all these inputs, okay, from the OS, and then pass back to the user the necessary information. So speech API is one of the great things that is coming to developers on the Windows Phone. Yeah. So of course, in Windows Phone 8, we have a complete wallet experience. Okay. So in addition to allowing you to put in your credit card details, your PayPal details, we are supporting mobile billing. So one thing I want to elaborate on the mobile billing. Okay. So what mobile billing does is that if you don't have a credit card, you can just get your charge your payment all into to your bill at the end of the month. Okay. But one interesting thing about mobile billing is that so this is one of the data we have, live data. What happens when we turn on mobile operator billing? Okay. So of course the numbers are not there because they are pretty sensitive. Okay. What happens is that when mobile billing was turned on, you can see that the revenue for this example app actually doubles. Okay. The reason being is that some countries people are not really comfortable with using credit card. Example, Japan. So Japanese people are still not very comfortable with credit cards. Okay. Another example of why is there such a big increase will be countries without credit card. Example, Indonesia. So we know that Indonesia is a very big market for mobile. Okay. But not everyone has a lot of people have a mobile phone, but not everyone has a credit card. Okay. So if you want to let's say deploy application into this all these countries, okay, the mobile operator billing will help you to increase your revenue for in-app purchases. Yeah. Okay. Of course, the sixth point will be Nokia Maps will be available for developers to build on. Okay. Previously on Phone 7 it was powered by Bing. Okay. So on Windows Phone 8 it will be all powered by Nokia. Okay. So the seventh point will be picture enhancers. Okay. So previously on the Windows Phone, Phone 7, when you want to write a camera app, you have to launch the camera app by itself. So Windows Phone 8, you are able to pull all the stream on the live feed from the camera itself, okay, either a picture or the video stream, and then write on your application layer or write your logic layer on top of this stream. Okay. Yeah, of course, and the final point will be the substream, which is very people-oriented, and the use of live tiles allows the users, okay, without going into the application, they are able to gather all the interesting information that's revolving around their social circle. So some of the platform improvement, okay, voice, VoIP and voice chat will be a very integral part of the OS. So let's say if you download the Skype application, okay, it will be fully integrated into the phone. When you when you try to call your friends, okay, through Skype, the experience will be very similar when you are dialing through a 3G network. Okay. The experience will be very similar. You will not feel that there is a application running on top at the back end. It will be a very seamless experience when you dial to all your friends and family members. Okay, so these are some of the new APIs that is available on the Windows Phone. Okay, maybe I'll just go through a few. Okay, so there's a new concept of app-to-app communication, which is very similar to what we have on Windows 8. Okay, so what the app-to-app communication does is that it allows you to share and receive media, different types of media. So let's say if you have a camera app, you can allow sharing of pictures to other applications. But let's say if you have a Photoshop app or some photo manipulation app, you can say, okay, I allow images to come into my app and I'll be able to manipulate it. So previously, let's say you want to share share information between applications, you might have to go through the cloud. Okay. Say you want to pass the information onto a cloud, then the other application will pull it out from the cloud. But right now for app-to-app communication, it can all happen on the device itself. Okay. Just to specify what are some of the default types or some of the my type that you support, and then allow other applications to make use of all the media that you share. Okay. Of course, there's stuff like lock screen notification. Developers will be able to access lock screen and push interesting notification onto the touchscreen itself. Yep. Okay. So there's a company hub. So this is more for the enterprise point of view. So on the phone, you can just go outside and just purchase a normal consumer phone. Okay. There's a setting for you to enter your company credentials and the hosted address for company apps. So just from the device itself, without getting a special view of the device, you'll be able to access the store for your own company. This might be some of the, let's say HR applications you have in your own company, or some CRM applications that your company has built for yourself. Yeah. Okay, so we have gone through this. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so these are just some of the summaries. So, so to sum it all, okay, Windows Phone is a really exciting platform that we have built for developers to be on top of. Of course, okay, so Nokia has some incentive. Of course, Microsoft we have some incentive too. So if you intend to build an app, or you already have something which is ready to be published to an app, come and talk to me. I have some complimentary store registration license to give out to developers. Yes. So that previously, okay, we have now doing build that it will cost you $8 for 8 days to publish your app onto the store. Okay. So I think that offer has left last Thursday, 2 days ago at 3 p.m. Okay. But now we are extending the offer. We are going to give out licenses to developers for free. So if you have an app, okay, you want to publish, come and talk to me or just drop me a message on the Facebook group. Okay, I will see how we can help you with that. Yeah. So with that, that's all I have for Windows Phone 8. Yeah, I'll pass the mic back to Eugene.
So if they're interested to go to the event, what's happening? Oh, let's clap first. Okay. So if they're interested to go to that event on next week, how do they register?
Facebook.
Okay, Facebook, everything from me. Any questions for Chunchong or Gary? If you notice, we were trying out the phone because it turns out the 920 has a better camera than the DSLR. So, or maybe you just don't know how to use the DSLR. But any questions for Gary or question there?
Is it applicable to like stock trading,
Online stock trading, like an app? I mean, there are apps that are online stock trading. You can take a look at this now. But guessing, I don't know what you really mean. So, what do you mean?
Okay, I mean, people use smartphone for
Correct.
stock trading as well.
Correct.
I'm not too sure where it is.
That's an app. I mean, you like stock trading. Is there an app like that? Not yet. There. That's the answer. He likes stock trading.
The two questions that I can't answer today is when is it going to be out and how much does it cost? Okay, but anyway, for developers, you guys are going to get it first, and we'll try and get the devices into your hands before this month is out. But we'll try to make sure that the avenues are there that you guys go. We've actually allocated 200 devices for Singapore for developers at a special price, and we'll let you know next week how to get hold of it and you guys to get it.
Yes.
Okay, so NFC is a really, really interesting thing, right? There are multiple things that you can actually do with NFC. There is, first, built into this, in the OS platform, there's this thing called tap and share, which means that you can actually share between two devices with NFC, or from a device with NFC to a tablet with NFC, and that actually, you can actually change images, music, contacts, information, and all that, and uses the NFC to pair the devices together. Another mode that you can use the NFC in, which is already built into this, is that it constantly is listening for tags out there. So if you just bring your phone to a particular tag and you tap the tag, it will actually initiate an action on the phone, whether it's to call a number, open up a URL, launch an application, or whatever. So those are two modes. There's one more mode, which is a very interesting mode, called the card mode, or what people call the secure NFC mode. So I have to let you know first that the secure NFC chips here, right, have with the phone platform has already been certified by Visa and MasterCard. Now, what we're waiting for is that piece of software to be certified by the local telcos, because you know ours is all on the SIM card here in Singapore, right? But once that's enabled, then this turns into your credit card or your transit card as well. Once the card mode is activated, so then this becomes the card. So there are actually 3 modes on it. And from a developer standpoint, one of the things I'm most excited about the implementation for Nokia, I can't speak for the other OEMs, is that it is multi-band radio, which means that the NFC chip inside supports Type A, MyFair, Felica Standard, blah, 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 blah. It's just whether the drivers are going to be written and who's going to use it. So the hardware is all there, now we leave it up to you guys.
Any more? Oh, Ala. Yes.
Just now we were talking about IE10 apps on the Windows Phone. Is it a similar experience to those on the Windows 8?
So both of them will be powered by the same engine. Okay. Yes. So the short answer is yes.
But do we get to make use of all the phone sensors and everything?
So let's say if you want to make use of the phone sensor, writing HTML5 app on the phone, you will have to use C# to communicate with the JavaScript. So there's an addition layer. Okay. So to communicate with the phone sensors, you will have to go through this layer. So JavaScript have to call a function in C#, then C# will return the function back into JavaScript function.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the only key difference. So in Windows Phone, Windows 8, we allow native JavaScript because there's a WinJS library.
Yeah.
On the Windows Phone, there's no WinJS library, but you still can talk to the phone using that method of invoking the methods in C# and JavaScript. Yeah.
Can I share my file through Bluetooth with other device? Because Windows Phone 7 doesn't support that.
You mean tap and share?
No, like I want to search for another phone that which has a Bluetooth net and share my files with my friends and pass.
Get only the data.
The short answer is yes, it's Bluetooth file sharing.
Because previously doesn't have.
Yeah, so Windows Phone 8 fixed that.
Is that supposed to be a 6?
Okay, anybody else? No, so if there's no more questions, Gary will stay for a while, check out the phone, take pictures. The camera is very, very, very good. Yeah, that's why I asked him also when it's going to be out. If they want to check my phone. So, yeah, if you have no more questions, the next lightning talk will be. Oh, wait, one more.
Would there be any desire
Color availability differs from market to market, so no, actually we don't know. It really depends on whether the operators want to order cyan or not. So the short answer is we don't know yet, but we know that you will at least have white and black.
2 base colors. Okay, so no more questions. Yeah, the next talk is 3. Okay, what's time?
Almost.
Okay. So you can just stay, talk to Gary. He has the phones. Check it out. I'll stay. And, yeah, so let's thank Gary and Chun for coming down. Thank you, Gary. And see you back in 3.